Why? Why? G'day, Aussie Bonsai Bloke. How you going? Well, g'day guys. Today is a sad, sad day. This poor tree, my almond tree, which I really loved, I've had for 12, nearly 13 years. One of my very first trees. Eaten some almonds from it. Had some really nice blooms. Well, last couple of years it's had still the blooms, but the almonds have fallen off and the growth has been pretty slow. So pretty sad guys, but it's finally succumbed and it's gone. So really, really sad day. I'll put a photo of it up in its prime. I'll do that now. So as you can see guys, sad day. Was a beautiful tree in its flowers. I'll have to find myself another almond tree. Really sad, sad day. On another note, the dog Leo cut himself pretty bad. It is healing up. So I'll show you that also. Hello Leo. Hey bud. You want to show everyone your little where the drip went in, Bubba? That's where the drip went in, didn't it? Okay. And then we'll just show the side. Show everybody what happened. Look at that, bub. Move your head that way so they can see. Oh, bub. Hey? Not good, Papa. Yeah, not good. Hey? Leo ran into a stake, didn't you, bud? Hey? Not good, Papa. And now, let's get on to the rest of the video. So as you can see, all of us kill trees. Here's my dead tree. We could try and explore why it died. I'm pretty sure it'll be crown gall. This tree had really bad crown gall the last couple of years. When I repot it, it gets these lumps all over the root system. And I'm pretty sure that's what's contributed to it. What I might do is I might just strip away everything and just put it in another tub in case it re-sprouts somewhere, but you know, pretty sure it won't. It's dead. There's a small amount of greenness and moisture up there, but I think it's just dying back slowly. By now it should have, yeah, she's gone. By now it should have some buds on it, so that's pretty sad. Pretty sad day for the tree. But with all sad days, sometimes there's a positive outlook. So one of the bonsai family members is dead. But another one is going to be in a pot. So with one bad day for that tree, becomes a pretty good day for this tree. I'm going to try and put it in this pot today. As you can see, it had decent roots right around, but I don't know. Who knows? Just succumbed to whatever its problem was. But today we're going to put this crepe myrtle in a new pot. So that's the main part of the video, is we're going to put that in a new pot. So I guess first things first is we'll see whether we can fit it in this pot. So what I'll have to do is I'm going to clean this pot out thoroughly. I might even boil the kettle Or actually, I've got a bit of metho in the shed. I'll actually rub it down with a bit of metho in case there's some sort of weird bacteria that killed the other tree. I'll clean up the pot. Let's do that first. So I'll just wash it down first, but then I'll bring it in washed up. Hey guys. G'day guys, welcome back. Well, got this pot just hosed off at the moment. Just went and hosed it off, that's all I've done. Now all we're going to do is put a bit of metho on a rag, and I'm just going to metho this pot down just to kill any potential germs that could have been in there that killed that tree. I'm not sure what killed it. I mean, to survive that long and then just die is pretty random, but it has been showing signs of stress lately in the last couple of years, and it's just finally gone. So anyway, so clean out the pot. So that's done. Might also, well, one would have thought I would have cleaned these screens while I was out there. What's that, Leo? What you got? It's your screen. That's your screen. So I'll just flick it off, wipe them off, put a bit of metho on the screens. You know, it's not an exact science. I'll probably flick some stuff back in there, you know. Whatever. But, you know, at least I tried. So now, I'm going to put the screens in the bottom of the pot. Okay, so they're in there. I'm not going to use any fancy wire. All I'm going to do is put a bit of soil in the top. For those who want to know, it's just cactus and succulent mix, generic. It's exactly the same as the bonsai mix they make. I don't care what they say, it comes out exactly the same because I bought both, and the cactus and succulent mix is slightly cheaper. So just put a layer in the bottom so that holds the mesh. A little worm here, flicking around on the table. Let's chuck him in as well. Now for the messy part. Pull over a tub. What we're going to do is we're just going to pull this crepe myrtle out and see how it's going. This crepe myrtle, bit of history. I put this crepe myrtle in the ground, must have been probably 9-10 years ago. Got it from a windsurfing mate, and it was a lot smaller than this, but managed to grow a fair decent trunk. Pretty good root system. Front of the tree's not overly decided yet. I've just trimmed back the heavy branches and slowly developed a little bit of branching, but it's to a stage now where the main branches have been developed. So I feel now it can be put into a pot, a bonsai pot, without it really slowing down any progress, because of the fact that now we want little tiny twigging and branches. We don't need the really rampant strong growth anymore. We do want it to slow down and start to look old. So there you go, a bit of history of it. Dug it out probably 4 years ago, probably spent 6 in the ground. So interesting to see how it's going in here. I have worked on this tree in the past. I'll put this pot out the way. It probably doesn't need a repot as such, you know. I'll just show you the base of it. Doesn't really need a repot as such. It's actually not filled the soil at all. Okay, but I'm going to be repotting it just because I want to put it into a bonsai pot. It doesn't actually need a repot. So what I'll do is I'll get the trusty old saw out, and I'm just going to chop a few slices of cake off around the place, just so that I know it'll fit. The way I see it, there's no point washing out all this soil really carefully, and then all the roots that were in this area, you go ahead and cut back anyway. You may as well do most of the work with a saw at the start, and it saves you a lot of time mucking around with soil and raking out soil when you probably, well, definitely would have cut them off anyway, especially if you want it to fit in that size pot. So that's how I do it. I just go around, cut it slightly smaller than the pot that I'm going to put it in, and just hope that you don't cut through anything critical. But being a crepe myrtle, they can handle pretty severe root prunings. Okay, so the sides have been cut down pretty well. Now let's just cut this clean in half. Cut half of it off. Really quick, effective way to do a repot on a deciduous tree which has super strong roots anyway, and is able to recover from this very easily. So here we got another root here which didn't quite get chopped. Get rid of that one. Sit her back up. Get rid of the mess into a tub on the ground. Wipe it all away. Might even reuse a lot of that soil because it's still pretty good. Might use it for some seedlings or something. No point throwing it away. So this crepe myrtle has grown super strongly pretty much the whole time. Never really looked back. So it's pretty cool. And then you can see now, compared to the tub it was in, I'll just go back a bit. So you guys, you can see now, compared to the tub that it was in before, look at that, swimming in there now. Now I guess the big test will be, is it going to fit into our new pot? I'll just get a new pot. Back in frame in a second. Let's have a look. Oh, easy. Plenty of room. Probably could have gone a little bit less harsh on it, to be honest. But it'll have plenty of room to grow into its new pot. So I guess now what I've got to do is we're going to wash off at least around the surface roots with a high pressure hose. And then we can see what we got and hopefully pick a decent front. And a front of a tree is a compromise between the best roots and the best trunk line. It's a bit of a compromise, try and find the best of both worlds. So the final front of your tree might not be the best top of the tree or trunk, and alternately it might not even be the best roots, it might not be the best of either, but it's the best overall look. So, right, we've got to wash off the top of that. I've got my mate Pointer outside, so I hand off the tree to Pointer. Hey Pointer, you out there? Pointer. Here you go, Pointer. Thanks, mate. Bring that back in a second. Thanks, Pointer. Oh, hello, Roy. You haven't been here for a while. Hello. Oh, careful for the saw. Here's little Roy. Here's little Roy. Hello. Hello. A bit worried up there, aren't you? Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Good boy. Love you, boys. Well, g'day, Porter. Thanks, Porter. Thanks for cleaning that off, mate. Done a great job. Yep, catch you later, Porter. See you, mate. In you come, Leo. Well, old Porter's done a great job cleaning that for me. And what do we got? Well, you can see we've got a beautiful trunk line here. I don't know, I'll just bring the guys up as close as I can without losing everything. So you can see beautiful trunk line here. Not so great there, but still nice taper. Pretty good trunk line there too. Gonna be a bit of a funny one to work out. So we could go that way, have this as the main front, which is pretty cool. And this bark sort of exfoliates for us, leaves us with this beautiful, beautiful motley looking color. So that'll be pretty cool as a front, pretty good front. Maybe tilt it forward a bit. Got some low branches, side branches, some high branches. The front's coming at you. Okay, so that's an option. Another option is we have to lose this whole branch here, and that could become the front with beautiful trunk line. And it is seriously a beautiful trunk line. Probably the best trunk line now, hands down. On the lower half, by the top half, there's no dominant leader there, and you lose a lot of years. Right, so that's our best lower trunk, possibly our best roots. I really like this cool one. Some here are pretty ugly. Let's cut off a few ugly roots. Like we've got one here coming right up in the air. And the problem with this one is it's nearly all dead on the end. It just sticks up too far. Should I, shouldn't I, shouldn't I, shouldn't I? It's gone. Right. So one of these guys under here will have to take over as the dominant root there, which is fine. So we'll let that one take over and fatten up, and that'll become the dominant root there. They do get pretty coarse roots, the crepe myrtle. Right, now we've got two roots here and then a really fat one under there, which is the one that we sawed through. And I'm happy to leave these fat ones under there and just leave them alone. You could sit here and nibble away at them. Chop them off as best you can, just so it sits in a shallower pot. But this pot is plenty deep enough anyway. And I don't like to put crepe myrtles in too shallow a pot because we get hot days here and I don't like to see them suffer, and they seem to get too wet in a shallow pot because shallow pots, if you don't know, they don't drain very well. And I have had one of my crepe myrtles in a really shallow pot, and I think the summer that it was in there, it went backwards. So I'm straying away from shallow pots for crepe myrtle. So I think that's probably pretty good. Get rid of a couple of these big ones here underneath. So you can see they get really coarse roots really quick. Right, so that's the underneath dealt with. Now it sits a bit flatter. Back to the trunk line, or back to these little roots. Let's clean off a couple more little guys, pretty ugly ones. Question, is this one here prettier than what's underneath? Probably not. Let's get rid of that one. So now it's a weed root, different colour, a little bit more white. So now we're going to be able to see this big root here, but it's got some little roots coming off it and going more at a better angle. More at a better angle, is that English? I don't know. But it's going more at a better angle, flaring out into the soil. So that's pretty cool. Keep turning. Happy to leave that one. Probably want to leave that one there, this little guy, because he's going to fatten up and help fill in that big void there that would be there otherwise. Right, we got this one here from this big root here, which is crossing over everything. I don't really like that. I'd rather see these other roots down here become a bit more dominant. This big root may go because it's at a weird angle, but I just got to see what else we got. I don't like this little guy at the end. Pull him out. Leave this one here. Depends. It depends if we keep this big fat guy and go for something underneath or not. You know what? I don't really like that big fat guy much. He's sticking at a weird angle. And there's some better tapered ones underneath. Let's get my little saw out. This is a big cut, by the way, guys. When I first looked at it, I would have never thought I would go this crazy on it. When I first looked at it in the pot, but we are going to go that crazy on it. We're just going to, well, are we? I don't know. It's a big cut. Oh, hello, Leo. You coming to check on my big cut, are ya? Good boy, hey? Very sad you cut yourself, wasn't it? Okay. Well, I'll tell you what. First, I'm just going to cut at an angle to a root that's underneath. Cut it very carefully. Right. So that got rid of that. So, well, I cut that one off accidentally. That was very careful. I told you to be careful, Sam, and you didn't. So we got a little guy under here, which we could keep. Just trying to work out whether there's going to be... There's a few little guys underneath coming across. I tell you what, let's just get rid of that bloody thing altogether. Take another slice with this. Be careful not to damage the trunk or any of the other roots. Ooh! Oh, it's alright, mate. It's only a little scar. You'll be right. Yeah, that's much better. Get rid of this one at the top here because we've got this nice root coming down here. What this will mean is we can actually lift it up higher in the pot without the chance of this root here sticking up in the air and drying out as well, so that's pretty good. Now, we do have a couple of good roots coming across into this gap. A couple more years, they'll hopefully fill up that space and it'll be all good. Probably don't want to promote this one sticking up in the air, but I will keep this little guy coming down here. I feel like he can stay. Could possibly, yeah, you start cutting down too far and could possibly even get rid of that whole guy. Keep the root plane down really low. These here you definitely can't. Well, let's work out what angle we want to plant it at now. So, put it on Adrian Eggleton's spinning tree turntable. Not sure if he still makes them, but he has a Facebook page, Spinning Tree Turntables. Haven't heard from him for a little while, but he also gave Nigel Saunders his Bonsai Zone turntable, the big rectangle one. And I got a couple others off him as well, so pretty cool. So let's give this a bit of a turn and see where we most like it. I'll do a full turn. Okay, so that's a full turn. Now, I'm not sure where you guys liked it. I guess in a way it's irrelevant, but a bit of fun for you guys to sort of choose which one you wanted the most. Like I say, I like that bottom half. That bottom half has beautiful root base, beautiful to there. I could grow this one out higher and cut this one back for sure, and cut this one back, possibility. And then run with this guy at the back and these guys. Definitely could. It's an option. There, the trunk's too thin and almost some inverse taper coming out. There, I'm not sure. There's sort of looking pretty good too, somewhere there. Somewhere there, if you eliminated this branch coming at your face, or maybe even tilted it further that way, gives you a pretty good root system, good flare, good taper, and decent movement. So that's a big possibility. Just doesn't have the character of that, does it? That was originally my front, but it doesn't have the character of that. But that's going to mean big cuts in the future. And we're going to have to lose this whole apex. Could we deal with the... I mean, is it possible to somehow bend the apex back around the front that way? Probably not. Crepe myrtle's pretty strong. That's starting to grab, rip there, I can feel it. So, I don't know. We'll try that. Maybe as the tree grows, I'll grow that out, see how it goes. And then these will be the front sort of upward branches. And then I'll get this one to dominate but come forward. And maybe in the future it'll look pretty good, I'm not sure. Or you can go there or there. Either way, it doesn't, it's going to be in a circle pot, so it doesn't really matter for now. It's just that I'm going to, I can't cut it back today anyway, because crepe myrtles you can't cut back when they're dormant. That's my belief, firm belief, and I'm sticking to it. So for now, let's just get it in this pot. Mound up the pot enough that once you've pushed the tree in, it's at least level with the rim. So, yeah, so I'm a bit indecisive about it. I'm going to probably look at it for a while now that we've exposed the roots. Let it tell me where it wants to go. I don't think today's the day to decide that. Like I say, I can't do any big chops anyway at the moment. But I do feel like that's a better looking front there than there, but maybe not. Tell me what you guys think. So it turns out you can decide for me whether you want that, the front, or that, something like that, the front. I could chop, actually that would probably work, if I chopped this one here off, this guy, and then trained that one out a bit, brought this forward a bit, and this here's all on the other side of the tree. You can still see a lot of that movement in this trunk, a lot of the roots, a lot of the nice roots. Still see all the taper, and just with that one branch gone, this will make this a dominant leader again and possibly be able to keep it. So I'll probably keep that in mind. I might even mark it at the end, and I'll put A and B, and you let me know, A, B, C. Let me know what you think for the front. Right, so let's, now we've got that done, let's put in a bit of bonsai soil. Now I'm not going to make it super root exposed yet because there's not enough feeder roots on the end of these little roots now, because I cut most of the feeder roots off when we harshly cut the whole root ball off. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to go around and fill up the pot like this and just push it in with my fingers in all the holes, because there's a lot of holes everywhere. So I'll get back to you when that's all done. Cheers. G'day guys, welcome back. Well, now we're going to put on some moss that I collected on the old esky lid. Got our moss there, guys. Look at that beautiful dog. And it is a beautiful day. Look at that. Bloody beautiful. Perfect day. No wind. Absolutely beautiful. Esky is the Australian word for a chili box. Chili box is the New Zealand term for an ice box. An ice box is a term for who knows who. But anyway, we got some moss, guys, and it looks pretty good. So what I'm going to do is I leave a bit of the soil on the moss. It helps it recover better. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to be careful to put it in between only the fat roots, but I'm going to cover up all the smaller roots, because this tree is not far enough in its development yet to expose all these little fine roots in here. Yes, it would look better if you could and keep them exposed, but you risk them dying off because they won't have enough moisture. So we'll cover up all the little guys. I only expose the big guys for now, and the little guys will just have to wait and grow. And maybe next repot, or maybe not even a repot, maybe what we could do is in a couple of years, if we don't think it's ready for a repot yet, what I could do is I could actually just take it, that banging door put me off because everyone's complaining about the banging door. Hang on. Okay guys, banging door sort of fixed. So maybe if it's not ready for a repot, but in a couple of years time, what we could do is we could actually take the moss off, scratch down. So here's a nice little root here, but I'm going to cover most of him up. It's unfortunate because he is pretty, but catch you later till next time. But yeah, what I was going to say is what I could do is I could take the moss off the top, scrape back the surface layer carefully with a chopstick or something, and then see what's underneath by then, and maybe expose a little bit more soil, bring the soil level down at the top, and then remoss it, and maybe it will expose some better roots. But anyway, probably going to end up being at a repot time. I'll probably just repot it and see how it's going and expose them then. But yeah, I do like to moss my trees, because the moss, great indicator to tell you how wet the tree's getting. If it gets too dry, the moss will go brown, and if it's too wet all the time, you'll see the moss will be so soggy and bright green that you'll be thinking, geez, maybe I'm overwatering this guy, and then you'll back it off. You sort of want the moss to be halfway between green and drying out in the summer, because if you've got it really green in the summer, it probably means you might be slightly overwatering, but be careful too not to let it get completely dry and shriveled up moss on top, because that means you're probably underwatering. Anyway, I'll go through and I'll moss the rest of this tree, and I'll get back to you, and we'll maybe have a little choose the front session. Okay. G'day guys, welcome back. Well, I'll give you guys a full spin of the tree in all its glory. I've got the moss in. Oh, I'll give it some water. when you water it, you just want to sprinkle it carefully out of a watering can, but not completely flood it off, because your moss will actually lift up and take away. And just make the edges nice and clean, just finishes it off a bit. Okay, so, alright, give it some water. Make it look all shiny, yeah. Right, so I'll give you guys a full spin from, well, maybe from here. Full spin. Let's go right the way around. Now I've just washed dirt all over my newly washed pot. So full spin. Hope you guys have chosen your front. So what I might do is stab a stick in somewhere where I think it looks good. So I'm going to have 3 size sticks: a small, a medium, a large. First one I'm going to put in is this small guy, and it's probably a happy medium somewhere there. That branch would come off if that was the case. This one would be gone. Okay, keep going. I don't feel like that would be a good front. It's just too much out the back if I did that, so I won't even mark that one. Now, we're getting towards... So if we like that as a front, and then chop off the back, beautiful roots. Ooh. Okay, I'll put in the tall one there. That'll be that as a front. Somewhere around there. That's not exact, but somewhere around there. Or another way we could do it, keep that sort of front, but just come around a bit. We'll put this branch in the back. Obviously things can be cut down and stuff, but I can't do that yet because, 1, you guys haven't decided the front, and 2, like I say, crepe myrtles don't like to be cut hard when they're dormant. You could probably trim twigs when they're dormant, but definitely not big cuts. They die back really easy. Okay, maybe here. So there's a medium, and then if that was the case, this medium stick, and you chose that, this branch here would completely come off, and then this one here would be moved around there with this branch completely gone, and then this would be trained up. So that's a pretty cool front too. So that would give you the most, well, it would give you most of the base, but not quite the full width. It starts to narrow with that one. But like I say, everything's a compromise. The best base is probably where this long stick is. Top, not so much. Roots, pretty good there. So you got good roots, good lower half of the trunk. This one, you got pretty good roots, but not quite as good, nearly as good. Not quite as much width at the bottom. Okay, but you get to keep a lot of the years of stuff at the top. Or you can go for a smoother look, more of a nice smooth taper, still taper nice and smooth up to the twigs, which is also equally really nice. And if that was the case, you wouldn't have to chop any of these branches off. You'd be able to keep them all. And I suspect that's probably somewhere where the front was chosen for the tree. And that way it's still actually, the apex is still in front of the base. You could lean it more next repotting if you chose that as a front, but that would be a pretty good front too. So, okay, small front, medium stick front, tall stick front. Let me know. Just want to thank you guys all for watching and supporting me. I really, really appreciate it. Love all the comments, love reading them. comment about what you want as a front, but also just general comments about the video. Much appreciated. Love reading them all. If I don't get back to everyone's comment, I do read them all. So thanks very much, guys. So cheers for watching Aussie Bonsai Bloke. Pretty sad about this almond tree. Poor almond tree, gone. But anyway, this one here now has a nice pot, which I think will really suit it because these get really nice lime green leaves and then they get like red leaves in autumn, so pretty cool. Spin on the way out, guys. Thanks very much for all your support. Really appreciate it. Have a great night, weekend, whatever. Yeah, not sure what you want as a front, but anyway. Cheers, guys, and I'll catch you next time on Aussie Bonsai Bloke. Cheers.